Continuing on now, we're going to look at Guru Gobind Singh, and this is for the AQA exam board for AS level RS. Just a bit of AO1 facts for you here. If you don't know what AO1 is, then you ought to take a look at your mark scheme. Guru Gobind Singh lived from 1666 to 1708. He was a guru from 1675 to 1708, and he was the 10th guru. And his main contributions to the Sikh Panth are the formation of the Khalsa, very important, you need to know that one off by heart, the 5Ks, the issuing of the surnames Singh and Kaur, I think I'm pronouncing that right, I'm sorry if I'm not, the Guru Granth Sahib, and the Dasam Granth. First of all, before we move on to the formation of the Khalsa, we need to ask, what is the Khalsa? The Khalsa is a group of body baptized Sikhs, and it's quite key in Guru Gobind Singh's legacy, so we're going to have a look at it now in more detail. The first members of the Khalsa were chosen by Guru Gobind Singh because they were willing to die for their faith, and the story goes along the lines of Gobind Singh gathering up all of his followers on the day of the harvest festival, and he asked them who he was to them, and their response was, "You are our Guru." And then he said, "And who are you to me?" And they said, "We are your Sikhs." He then drew his sword and said who was willing to die for their faith. There's a bit of debate on whether or not he said die for your faith by decapitation. I would just stick with in the exam who was willing to die for their faith. And obviously the crowd are going to be a bit shocked at this, so it did take him third time asking before someone actually came up. And he led them into his tent, and then Gobind Singh left the tent with a load of blood on his sword. Shocking the crowd, obviously, but eventually a further 4 people came up saying they were willing to die for their faith, and they all went into the tent, and every time he came out to get the next person of the 4, he would have more blood on his sword. But they all left the tent unharmed and reclothed. Again, a bit of debate on how he got the blood on his sword or whether or not there was any, but for those that say that there is blood on the sword, that he used lambs. He was slitting the throats of lambs to get the blood on his sword. And to reward them for their loyalty, he mixed some clear water and some patashas, I think that's pronounced, which is sweeteners. Nowadays he uses brown sugar, I believe. He mixed them into an iron bowl with his double-edged edged sword, and he was reciting the Adi Granth whilst doing so. If you don't know what the Adi Granth is, you may want to look up. I believe it's Guru Arjan, but it's sort of like the Guru Granth Sahib, only a lot less gurus are involved in it. We're going to move on to the Guru Granth Sahib a bit later. From mixing these two together, he created a nectar-like substance, which he there called Amrit, and he administered the Amrit to the 5 men, and used it to baptize them. And from that point forward, they were the first members of what he would later call the Khalsa. And he had also therefore just performed the first Amrit ceremony, and that is performed even today during Sikh baptisms. And it's good to bear in mind that the formation of the Khalsa as a whole is celebrated in festival, what's it called? Can't remember what it's called, but we're going to go on to I'll tell you what it is later in the slide. I've got it written down somewhere. Vaisakhi, that's it. Vaisakhi. The formation of the Khalsa is celebrated in the Sikh festival of Vaisakhi. You also need to know the 5Ks, which Panj, and I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce that word because, well, let's be honest, you need to write it down. You don't need to say it in the exam. That's the more definitive way of saying the 5Ks. That'll get you marks in AO1. Panj Kaki I'm going to go with. And the importance of the 5Ks is quite a big one because it is part of Gobind Singh's legacy to leave behind identity with the Sikh Panth, and he does this with the 5Ks and the establishing of the surnames Singh and Kaur, which I'll get into a bit later. But the 5Ks are the following: Kesh, which is the uncut hair, which in Sikhism is a representation of saintliness. There is Again, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing any of these right, but I'm going to go with Kanga, which is to comb and keep the hair clean, which is this little comb over here. Kara, which is the steel or iron bracelet that a Sikh would wear, and the idea there is to denote oneself to the universal God, and it keeps you handcuffed from doing wrong. My teacher explains it as if a Sikh was about to get involved in a fist fight, they would raise their fists up to ready to throw a punch, see the Kara, and realise what they're doing is violent, and it would stop them because it's just there as a reminder. Kasha, I'm going to go with. I'm not sure if that's right as well, but that is a piece of practical wear to denote modesty. It's sort of like a pair of shorts, and it's this one down here. It's titled different in the diagram, but this is what the exam board specify it is. It's called. So I go with that in the exam if I were you, but you can put that if you want. And there's kirpan, which is the blade. And I'm not entirely sure on this, but you need to do revision on it anyway, so I'd check it up if I were you. But I believe the idea of the kirpan is to defend the weak physically. Now, if you think back to Guru Hargobind and his idea of saint soldiers, the principle there is to defend the weak and needy both spiritually and physically. The kirpan here is to defend them physically. We have the surnames next, Singh and Kaur, which is what Gobind Singh said will be issued with every baptism. Should you be a man, your surname will change to Singh, and should you be a woman, it will change to Kaur. And it's important to bear in mind that since the days of Nanak, equality has been a very important aspect of Sikhism, and it's important to Sikhs that, unlike in Hinduism, they are not tied by a caste system. And the surname, unfortunately, reflects on your caste, and therefore it would reflect on how you should be treated. So to avoid this, Gobind Singh assigned identical surnames to avoid tracing of this caste history. Finally, we have the Guru Granth Sahib, and this is arguably one of Gobind Singh's most famous contributions to the Sikh Panth. And it's basically an extension on, yes, it is Guru Arjan's Adi Granth. And the book contains all of the teachings of the Gurus up to, but not including Gobind Singh. He did not feel that his teachings were worthy of the Guru Granth Sahib, and so he put all of his teachings into the separate Dasam Granth. The Guru Granth Sahib also contains all of the revealed hymns from Nanak, Guru Angad, Guru Amar Das, Guru Ram Das, Guru Arjan, and Guru Teg Bahadur. Obviously, because of the name Guru, it's a bit more than just a holy book. It is the final Guru in Sikhism, and it's referred to as the living Guru and is used widely in festivals like Baisakhi. And that's everything that you should need to know for Guru Gobind Singh in the AS level RS paper for the AQA exam board.